So, my dear students, we have just seen Sahib wants to go to school, but when Anish Jung asks him a question, why do you do this? As you can see on your screen, he says, because he has no other work to do. And he says that his family has come from Bangladesh because their houses were swept away in the floods. They came to India, and now you can say they are living in a miserable condition over there. The children are rag pickers, and when you see or look at this picture, you can compare. Look at these two pictures. One, these children are so lucky because they are going to school. They are so blessed. They are learning from the teachers. And on the other hand, you can see Sahib. He is carrying a bag on his back, which is none but a burden. He says there is no school in my neighborhood. So, page number 14. Once again, I have a book with me, so look at this one. Anish Jan. I'm talking about page number 14. After months of knowing him, I asked him his name. Anish Jang asked Sahib, what's your name, Sahib? Sahib A. Alam, he announces. He doesn't know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the Universe, he would have a hard time believing it. My dear students, look at the name once again. Sahib A. Alam, which means Lord of the Universe. Lord of the Universe is a rag picker. It's ironical. There is irony here. Do you know, my dear students, what is an irony? Irony is a figure of speech or a remark which is exactly opposite to what it actually conveys. Its meaning is totally different from its literal meaning. So, Sahib's name is Sahib A Alam, which means Lord of the Universe, God, but he's a rag picker. He doesn't know about the meaning of his name. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. Over the months, I have come to recognize each of them. Anish Jung here, she is mentioning that their connection, their relationship, their association has grown. They have become just like friends. I asked one of the boys, "Why aren't you wearing chappals?" Because they were not wearing any chappals. Look at this one. This is army of rat pickers in front of you on the screen, and these children are bare feet. They are not wearing chappals. My mother didn't bring them down from the shelf. He answers simply. He simply says, because the chappals have been put up on the shelf, and my mother has not brought them down. Even if she did, he will throw them off, adds another boy who is wearing shoes that do not match. When I comment on it, he shuffles his feet, shuffling, moving his feet, and says nothing. I want shoes, says a third boy who has never owned a pair of all his life. Traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot in cities on village roads. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. When these children are asked why are they wearing chappals or why don't they wear chappals, they say this is a tradition. They never say that it is lack of money, but because they have been bare feet for ages, for a long time. So they think that this is their tradition because nobody wears chappal in their houses. I wonder if this is the only one excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. Perpetual, never ending, everlasting, continuous poverty. Because their life is so miserable, they are poverty stricken, they are not so lucky as you are. I remember a story a man from Udupi once told me. As a young boy, he would go to school past one old temple where his father was a priest. As you can see in the picture, a boy, his father was a priest. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. I want a pair of shoes. 30 years later, I visited this town again and the temple, which was now drowned in an air of desolation. Drowned means covered in an air of desolation, emptiness, wilderness, where nobody lives over there. Desolation, just isolation. In the backyard, sorry, where lived the new priest. There were red and white plastic chairs. As you can see, the new priest here, and this new priest has this boy who is wearing tie, shoes, socks are there, and he seems to be very happy here. So there is a comparison between two lives, but now the situation has improved for betterment here. A boy you can see dressed in a grey uniform, wearing socks and shoes, arrived panting and threw his school bag on a folding bed. Looking at the boy, I remember the prayer another boy had made to the goddess when he had finally got a pair of shoes. Let me wear, never lose them, as you can see. The goddess had granted his prayer. Young boys like the son of priest now wore shoes, but many others, like the ragpickers in my neighborhood, remained shoeless. Anish Jung is saying that the situation has improved in some parts of the area, especially UDP, which is in Karnataka. But in Simapuri, the situation remains the same. Children are still without shoe. They are shoeless. My acquaintance with the barefoot ragpickers leads me to Simapuri. Acquaintance, association, connection, association. Now Anish Jung goes to Simapuri. And when she goes to Simapuri, as you can see, she looks or she finds out that there are many ragpickers over there. A place, Simapuri is a place, as we have seen a documentary on it, it is a place near Delhi or on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it, metaphorically. Please underline this line. A place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it, metaphorically. Delhi is the capital of India. Everybody expects that Delhi is full of facilities, full of food, water, opportunities, lots of things are there. But Simapuri is devoid of all these things. Simapuri lacks all these facilities, all these opportunities, because only ragpickers can be seen over here. That's why Simapuri is far away from the capital of India in terms of development. Those who live here are squatters. Squatters are the people or occupants, those who live illegally, who came from Bangladesh back in 1971. Sahib's family is among them. Simapuri was then a wilderness. Wilderness is a place which was neglected, or you can say unsettled, uninhabited. It still is, but is no longer empty. In structures of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of civils. Tarpaulin is a sheet of a kind of sheet or a kind of cloth which covers the roof, right? So here in this para, you must underline these things. If you are asked a question, describe Simapuri. So this is all about Simapuri, and you can see miserable condition people are living in there. These rag pickers have lived there for more than 30 years without an identity, without permits. They do not have any identification. They are living illegally without any permits, but they have ration cards. You know why ration cards? Because the government, they are used as vote banks, but they are not given any facilities. When the politicians visit Simapuri, they just treat these people living in Simapuri as their vote banks. These people say food is more important for survival than an identity. If at the end of the day we can feed our families and go to bed without an aching stomach, we would rather live here than in the fields that gave us no grain. There is a comparison between two places. One is Bangladesh and one is India, that is Delhi, where they are living in. Says a group of women in tattered saris, tattered, old, and you can say torn. When I asked them why they left the beautiful land of green fields and rivers, that was their answer. Wherever they find food, they pitch their tents. They do not have permanent houses. They are just like gypsies. They have transit homes. They do not have permanent houses. Children grow up in them. They become partners in survival. Children also start going to I mean, going to work. Actually, their work is rag picking. They do not go to school. That's why they become partners with their parents. And survival in Simapuri is what means rag picking. So, my dear students, Simapuri is only known for rag picking. Through the years, it means this rag picking has acquired the proportions of fine arts. Everybody knows what is fine arts. It requires skills, it requires creativity. But here in Simapuri, picking has become so famous that it has become just like fine arts, right? It is treated because it requires skills how to find out or how to look for something which is very precious out of those heaps of dumps. Garbage to them is gold. Here, look at this. Garbage can never be gold, but garbage is very, very important for them. It is their daily bread. It is a roof over their heads. At least it provides them a shelter. It covers them. It protects them. And they earn whatever they earn through this rag picking. Even if it is a leaking roof, leaking means it shows it is not repaired. They live in miserable condition, but still a kind of support, a kind of help. But for a child, it is even more. Come to page number 16 now. I sometimes find a rupee, even a 10 rupee note. Who says this? Look at this. Look at the picture. This is miles away from Delhi. These children live in miserable condition, as you can see on the roof. There's a tarpaulin sheet, garbage. This boy is looking for something in the garbage, and you can see these ladies also working in the garbage. The children here. So when Anish Jung asks one of the boys, they say, he says, I sometimes find a rupee, even a 10 rupee note. Sahib says, his eyes lighting up. When you can find a silver coin in a heap of garbage, you don't stop scrounging, for there is hope of finding more. It seems that for children, garbage has meaning totally different from it means to their parents. For the children, please underline, for the children, garbage is wrapped or covered in wonder, and for the elders, it is a means of survival. There is a, I would say, there is a contradiction or there is a contrast between these two things. So here we can say it's a contrast or antithesis. Children like rag picking because according to them it is full of wonder. Sometimes they find rupee, sometimes they find a coin or some any precious thing. But for their parents, garbage means only survival. One winter morning, I see Sahib standing by the fence gate of the neighboring club, watching two young men dressed up in white playing tennis. Look at this picture. You can see here one child is playing lawn tennis, and on the other hand, look at this picture. These children are sitting without shoes, and in this picture, you can see one child is wearing shoes, but this is discarded shoes, worn out, torn shoes. Saib also wants to play. Look at this line once again. One winter, I see Saib standing by the fence gate, the neighborhood club, watching two young men dressed in white. I like the game, he hums. Hums means speaks in a low voice. He is content. Content means feel satisfied. And when we say content, everybody knows what are the contents, what is the content. He is satisfied, content to watch standing behind the fence. I go inside when no one is around. He admits the gatekeeper lets me use the swing. Saib too is wearing tennis shoes that look strange over his discolored shirt and shorts. Someone gave them to me, he says in the manner of explanation. The fact that they are discarded shoes, as you can see this picture, this is discarded shoes of some rich boy who perhaps refused to wear them because there was a hole in one of them. Doesn't bother him. For one who has walked barefoot, even shoes with a hole is a dream come true. But the game he is watching so intently, so deliberately, is out of his reach because this game is very, very costly, and Sahib or children like Sahib cannot afford to play such type of game. This morning, Sahib is on way to the milk booth. In his hand, he has a little canister. Look at this picture, tea stall. Can you see tea stall? And you can see Sahib. Now Sahib has started working at this tea stall. I now work in a tea stall. Down the road, he says, pointing in the distance, I am paid 800 rupees and all my meals. Does he like the job? I ask. His face, I see, has lost the carefree look. It means he is not enjoying this new job. The steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag. My dear students, now Sahib has started working at tea stall. He is not carrying his bag with him. He has a steel canister which is heavier than the bag which he was carrying earlier. But actually, it has two meaning here. He is not enjoying this job. He is burdened with this steel canister. He is working somebody under somebody. He is no longer his own master. Look at page number 17. The bag was his. The canister belongs to the man who owns the tea shop. Sahib is no longer his own master because now he has started working under a person, under his boss, where he is paid 800 rupees. But he is not enjoying this one. This is the end of the part 1, but we'll revise it. So, my dear students, I hope that you will go through this chapter once again. And if you have any doubts regarding any word, any question, please write it to me to my email address, or you can also WhatsApp on my number, and then I'll definitely come back to you for solving your doubts. Right? This we have from this part 1, we have just got an idea that this is about the miserable condition of these rag pickers, those who are forced, those who are condemned to do such kind of menial job.